to record this. So let's start with this this presentation. The agenda is as follows. We are going to talk about defining education, why we need to reclaim our children's education, and how to define education for our children, educational success, and what are some of the things that we can do to partner with other people that have common educational success with goals with us. And then we will talk about what American Heritage School Online has to offer, and we'll hopefully dedicate most of the time to answer your questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, all right? And we'll keep a track there of the questions in the chat. You can ask at any time, and then when we get to the question and answer part of the presentation, we'll be able to answer the questions, okay? If there are other topics that I'm missing, okay, please also, you can let me know in the chat for that. So I wanted first to start by getting a definition of education. I'm actually very big on definitions. And this definition on the left of the screen is the definition that comes from the original Noah Webster 1828 dictionary. And he defined education as intended to enlighten the understanding, correct the temper, and form the manners and habits of youth, and fit them for usefulness in their future stations. To give children a good education in manners, arts, and science is important. To give them a religious education is indispensable. And an immense responsibility rests on parents and guardians who neglect these duties. That is the original definition. This is the current definition of the same dictionary, the Merriam-Webster dictionary online of education. And you can see that it's quite different. It's a little bit lacking in depth, all right? It certainly does not have much of putting any responsibility on anyone. It has the link about here, the action or process of educating, of being educated, and so I went into that definition to educate. And the current definition is just to provide schooling for someone, okay? To train by formal instruction and supervised practice in a skill, train, or profession. But the original definition is actually a lot more profound. That is the reason why in our school we use the original 1828 dictionary to help us really understand the original meaning of these words, okay? And see how the original definition specifies that education is for the arts, science, morals, religion, and behavior. So those things are not separate. They are really not separate at all. They are all part of the education that we should pursue, okay? Briefly, I'm going to look at some of the historical evolution of educational systems, okay? I'm a nerd, you know, so I like these type of things, all right? Homeschooling is not new. Homeschooling has been really the educational system of centuries, all right? And that is really the way that most people that were educated by learning from their families. Tutoring also is a very old practice as apprenticeship, okay, where the family would contract with someone to teach a child a trade or skill or a profession, all right, and that was, you know, the way that most of education has been going on through this history of humanity. In the Middle Ages, you have the beginning of religious schools and universities. That is where the first universities started happening in Europe. And that also gave rise to private schools. One-room schools developed in many areas of the world, especially here in the United States, in rural areas. It was very, very common for the development of these one-room schools. That they were mostly private schools also. They were financed and paid. The community would donate money and pay for the salary of the teacher to teach all the students. In the 1700s, the Prussians started what is called the Prussian education system. And most of the educational systems in the world are derivatives from this Prussian education system. This is where primary school, kindergarten, secondary school, and tertiary school started, actually. So this was, beginning in that era. Then these systems were exported around the world. Horace Mann was the main proponent of instilling the Prussian type of educational system in America. And so he started public schools that were tax funded in Massachusetts. And he started also promoting non-sectarian education. Okay, it was short of being secular, but the main thing was that he didn't want to promote any particular religion in the education. John Dewey, at the turn of the 1900s, he started the progressive education movement. And most of the things that we see in public schools right now, where you have stages and athletic fields and auditoriums, orchestras, and so on, were coming from John Dewey's progressive education movement. Okay, all this fomented the thrust for compulsory education in the world, actually. Okay, so in most countries, primary education is obligatory. In some countries, is also secondary education is obligatory. Okay. Like I mentioned before, Horace Mann, from 1796 to 1859, he set out the principles of public education. Okay. He mentioned that these were the main principles of what the public education system should provide. It should be paid for and controlled by the public interest, okay? It should be free for all children with a variety of backgrounds. And he insisted that the education must be non-sectarian. It shouldn't be focused on one particular religion. He did promote the reading of the Bible and the teaching of morality and Christian principles, but this is kind of the starting point of moving into secularism, okay? And this education must be taught using the tenets of a free society, and this is the first time also where he insisted, okay, that education needed to be done by well-trained professional teachers. He actually started the normal schools here in America, okay? John Dewey, at the end of the 1800s, beginning of the 1900s, started the progressive education movement, all right, where now we have that the participation of the individual in the social consciousness of the race. Here he was basically talking about not a particular race, but American society in general, okay? He sustained that education is a social construct, and therefore the school and the education should reflect the community. The curriculum in the schools reflect what society at large had to do. And that is where, in this era, is where schools started doing sports, because that is part of society, where they started doing drama or music and art, because that was also part of society. And so education started changing not just the academic topics, but also including things like home economics and cooking and so on, all right? And he saw that the schools were a means to reconstruct society. Not only they needed to reflect society, but also it was a good vehicle to shape society in the future. If you control education, you control really what people are going to do in the future, okay? So this phrase, the long march through the institutions, is actually something that was developed by the communists, okay? But this is actually something that you can see how we evolve our educational systems, starting from religious education, then sectarian education, to non-sectarian, to secularizing the education. Then in 1962, the Supreme Court did the whole series of cases separating the church and state, okay, and abolishing the reading of the Bible and prayers from school and so on. The idea was, well, we can still do moral education, but that didn't last very long, really. Postmodernism hit, and with postmodernism came the critical view and the revisionist view of everything that happened, okay? Historical revisionism and cultural revisionism. And then we have in the late 60s the beginning of the critical theories, that is what is now being invaded in our school systems, okay? Now there's, no escaping of that. So this long march through the institutions basically was the way that the Marxist communists saw we cannot actually effect a revolution, okay, of the proletariat. That never really happened. And so we are going to actually instill and promote this revolution little by little by invading and co-opting the institutions. And one of the main institutions that they did co-opt was the whole educational system, okay? So what are the things that we normally now see as attitudes towards education and schooling, okay? I've seen this in many places, in my children many times, okay, and even in many of our online students, okay. One of the attitudes is that of pragmatism, the utilitarian view. People always are just trying to learn what is going to be useful, okay. So if something they don't consider it to be useful, why should I learn it? Okay, a very, I would say, myopic view, but it's a very imbued view in our way of thinking. If I can use it, then I need to learn it. Materialism is also another thing that we have in our view of education and schooling. We normally see the things that we learn as a way, a means to getting somewhere else, getting into college or getting a job or a position or joining a team or something, okay? Or another way is kind of this bait and switch, okay, where we say, if you do this, if you take these classes, then you can participate in these other activities that you want, okay? You want to be in band? Okay, yeah, you need to take history and math and so on that you don't want to do, but you do it in order to escape this other way, okay? This has led a lot to what I normally call the conveyor belt education, okay, where students have learned very effectively to jump the hoops, okay, just do what it takes to get the points, get the A's, keep going, okay. Learning is in many of these cases not the objective, okay. The objective is just cramming and forgetting in order to get the step done, get the points, move on, okay? And, and that is a very pervasive and negative attitude, really. But it's something that you see a lot, okay? Another attitude is that schools or the educational system has just a custodial and social aspect, okay? A lot of families see the public school as a babysitter, all right? Okay, so at least they are out of trouble. We send the kids to school, they are there, okay? Someone else is taking care of them. That has allowed for the rise of the double income earning families in our society, because now the children are being taken care by the school, okay? Also, the other part of this is that public schools have become the center, really, of sporting, cultural activities, and pretty much all of the social life of the students, okay? That is the center. Whereas before, it was more the neighborhood, the family, church, the center of these type of activities. Now we can see that the schools have taken care of that. In America, this is even more so, all right? I grew up in South America, where we had the club system, and so a lot of the social, extracurricular, and sporting activities were done in those areas, and they were not part at all of the educational system. But here in America, that is really the reason number 1, 2, and 3 why students want to go to a public school, okay, is to participate in these events. So now we really, I feel, need to reclaim our position and our responsibility in educating our children, okay? The Lord has said it is impossible for man to be saved in ignorance. So as part of our theology, where we believe in the eternity of the soul and on the eternal progression of mankind, of us individually, we understand that learning is not just a practical thing to do. It's not just something for this life, but it is actually totally essential for our eternal salvation. We also learn that the glory of God is intelligence, or in other words, light and truth. So if we ever want to achieve exaltation and salvation and obtain the glory of God, we also need to develop our intelligence. We need to increase in light and truth, the same way that God has, okay? We also believe that whatever principle of intelligence we attain unto in this life, it will rise with us in the resurrection, okay? So we don't take anything from this life except the things that we have learned, the knowledge and intelligence that we attain in this life through our diligence and obedience. That is the only thing really that remains with us. So it is extremely important that we do not relinquish or just view education as a utilitarian thing, or a passing thing, or something that we do just in order to get a job. Okay, a lot more important. Another scripture here, it says, as all have not faith, seek ye diligently, and teach one another words of wisdom. Yea, seek ye out of the best books words of wisdom. Seek learning even by study, and also by faith. Here we see a pattern of how learning has to be done both by study and also by faith. Okay, it cannot be just one way or the other. It's really both things together. Okay, and it is, as much as we have separated faith from study, we now see what that leads to. The separation leads to, this again utilitarian view and pragmatic view and so on. This conveyor belt of view of education and the meaninglessness of education. Okay, but that is not where we need to be. Okay, so we learn hard things so we know that we can learn hard things. That is something that I really believe, that it is important, that as we teach our children hard things, then they are able to learn that they can learn hard things. And the same thing with doing. We have to do hard things in order for us to know that we can do hard things. That is the diligence, the perseverance that comes. We also learn in order to see the hand of God in all things. Okay? It's not just that we learn in order to then get a job or be able to learn this skill and do something. For me, okay, learning about how the cell works is a way really of worshiping God, of seeing how the creator of all things has done everything. All right. And that can be applied absolutely to everything. As whatever we learn, we can turn it into a grateful worship of God, the creator of all things. Okay. So, what education does American Heritage Online offers? What is the type of education that we offer? I like to use this acronym that is the letters for FACE. So I always remember that. F is for foundational, okay? So we like to concentrate on essential, necessary principles, the eternal principles, the more important things in every subject, okay? Whether it's English or biology or whatever, we want to be able to distill what are the most important things that the students need to learn. We are also American. That means that we are based on the principles of republican self-governance under God, okay? Yes, we honor America, the United States of America, but that is because it is the example that God has established for helping promote the freedom of the rest of the world, really. And so it's not like we are USA, rah, 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 okay? Our education focuses here on the principles of republican self-governance under God. And that applies to people all over the world. Whenever I explain this to some of our international families, they always understand and say, yeah, I get that, okay. Christian, our education is anchored upon the principles of the restored gospel of Jesus Christ. We do not apologize for that. We are not the church. We are aligned with the principles of the church, and our main focus is to develop a foundational American Christian character education. Okay. The education as defined by Noah Webster in 1828. Okay, so that is the type of education that we offer and we focus on. Because of that, we do many things differently. Okay, so for example, we commit our students to not cheat, all right? And we are going to be vigilant on that. The reason is because we want them to learn to be self-governed, okay, and to be living the principles of the gospel of honesty and integrity, okay? So AHS Online offers an accredited program, is diploma granting. We're seeking to develop everything in order to have a full set of courses. And we use online flip courses. Flip courses mean that we do have a live component in our classes where the students meet together with the learning coach and so on, but most of the effort, most of the work is done independently by the students studying the materials, watching the videos, doing the readings, completing the assignments, and so on their own. That is where the flip comes, okay? They studied independently, and then during the live classes, they come in order to answer questions, discuss the topics in more depth, and so on. We have in every lesson graded assignments with feedback. So the learning coaches are there to give feedback to the students and to offer a high-touch, personalized education. All right, that means that we have one-on-one coaching sessions to receive personal feedback. These one-on-one coaching sessions are amazing, really. And all the students and the learning coaches always tell me that is their favorite part of the program, okay? And so that is how we do our classes. We also really believe in being partners with the teachers. So we have a partnership between parents, teachers, learning coaches, and students in order to produce this foundational American Christian education. Okay. We offer a middle school program where we prepare the students in 7th and 8th grade to succeed in the high school. All right. And our main goals in the middle school is to help the students become responsible online learners. So that is kind of a lot of the practice ground for them to be successful in online learning. We also want them to develop the academic and self-discipline skills that are necessary and to be proficient in the methods of American Heritage School. In the high school, we prepare the students to succeed for their lives and the future. Okay, and here we are basically going deeper into mastering curricular objectives, these foundational skills and knowledge that they will need for the rest of their life. We also want them to fully develop Christian character, developing a love for learning, not just again, this conveyor belt type of education going just after the points, but we want the students to be able to learn to enjoy learning and to have autonomy and choice in the things that they want to learn, and to become self-governed individuals willing to serve their country and their fellow men, to be useful, like is the definition there of education. So those are the things that we offer here in American Heritage School Online. Now I have time for questions and answers. Okay, if there's anything that you were expecting that I haven't covered or any questions, you can unmute yourselves, okay, or you can put your questions in the chat. Okay, anything will go. Okay. All right, going to stop sharing my screen so we can see each other and everything. All right, so
Do you know what
Okay.
courses you'll have next year for 8th grade?
Excellent. Yeah. Any questions?
Pablo, did you hear that one? I think it was Allison.
Can you not hear me?
I
Can you
really
hear me?
appreciate your joining. Okay, and at this time, I know that this is probably not the best time of the day, but I really appreciate your joining on this. Alison, you have a question? Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Okay, let's see.
I can hear you.
Let's see.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Okay,
My
just
kids are
stand
not
by.
here. Sorry. And I don't know how to.
I can write it in the chat box if you want.
That would be great because I'm on my phone. Okay,
you want to know what course is?
You can unmute
8th
yourselves, but for some reason I cannot hear anyone.
Will 8th grade have a foreign language is also a question.
Okay.
That I was having
I'll put that
before.
Thank you.
Let me see. Okay. Hello, Clyde? Okay, so you can hear. You can hear. Audio settings. Let's. Okay. All right. So.
And then Cheryl, did you all also have a question
that is
after
crazy.
Allison's
I'm
answered?
the only one that I cannot hear. Okay, so let me address that question.
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right.
Regarding the middle school.
All right. So what courses are going to be offered here? Let me share again the screen and go to that. Okay.
Cheryl, maybe you can put it in the chat.
Okay, so these are the courses that we have. Okay, this will be the whole development plan of the courses. Okay, this is so weird that I cannot hear anyone. I don't know what to say. Let me answer this way and see if I can hear this way. Yeah, hi Clyde. Yeah. Yes. Let's see again. Let me try that. Audio settings. Output. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. Let's see if now I can hear someone. Okay. Kristen?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
My goodness, yes. I don't know what happened. Never had this happen before with me, so all right.
Well, that's all right. So Allison had the question about 8th grade, and then Cheryl has the next question.
Okay, so these are the whole plan. Let me share this screen, and this shows the in our website. Okay, under schedules, you see the courses that we are going to have for the middle school, and you can click in here to enlarge. And so we are going, this year, we are going, instead of having a Monday, Wednesday, Friday group and a Tuesday, Thursday group, we are going to offer the classes every day, but at different times, okay? So some of the classes will be offered once, and other classes will be offered 3 times or 2 times, okay? And so this is the schedule that we have for middle school at this point. There may be some subject to change in the schedule depending on the number of students that sign up for the classes. So these are the classes for the middle school: art and music, history, literature, science, geography. We have, for foreign language, we are going to try to offer French, German, and Spanish. The reason why I say trying to offer is depending again on the number of students that sign up. We are going to have language arts, computer science, okay, and those are the main classes for the middle school. All right. And then for the high school, we have the following schedule. And of course, math, all right? Sorry, I forgot to mention. Math is the class where the students don't meet in a live class together, but they are at whatever level they are in math. And we have Math 7, pre-algebra, Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and pre-calculus. So, and a geometry course, okay? So we have, those are the different courses that we have for math. So then we have financial literacy and business technology. These are going to be semester courses. So the first semester will be one and the second semester will be the other. Biology, literature, written portfolio, French, German, Spanish, health, family science, and history, and then computer science. And then we have in the afternoon, this is the only time that we could offer chemistry. So if some students are interested in chemistry there in the afternoon, okay. All these courses are available here with the live class, but you can also sign up a la carte and just take some of the courses. In this page, the courses page, we have the description of all the courses, all the middle school courses, okay, including the electives and other courses that don't meet online, like master project or experiential learning, athletic performance, artistic performance. And then we have the list of the high school courses, also the required courses and the electives. And then at the bottom, we have the math courses described here. All right. So Allison, does that make sense? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my only question with that is, if they need help with math, do they do that at 8 a.m.?
No. So that is the good thing. The reason why, we show here in the schedule math at 8 in the morning, because it's a suggestion, all right? The students, I always encourage the students to do math at the beginning of the day, getting it done 1 hour a day, and then they are done with math. But they can sign up for one-on-one coaching sessions anytime, okay? And so we are going to have 2 math learning coaches, Miss Larson and Mrs. Hill, Miss Hill, and they are going to be available for one-on-one coaching sessions at different times of the day. But, so the students sign up whenever they need help, okay? Does that answer the question, Allison?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, I think Cheryl had one now.
Cheryl? Yes.
I have a question. I'm looking at the schedule for middle school and high school. You seems to have 3 different times or 2 different times. So they just need to choose one time to attend, or is
yes.
that?
Yeah, they can choose one time. Okay. So every course meets only once, 1 hour per week per course. All right. The reason why we are offering this variety of times is because now we are having some students, we have some students that are in Hawaii, okay? And so these early morning classes will be really, really early. And this one, 1 to 2 o'clock, will be at 8 to 9 in the morning. So more doable. And we have some students in the East Coast. Last year we had some students in Europe. And so we think that it's going to be better to have this variety of times. But they have to choose only one time. Mm-hmm.
So do we have to have the kids choose, or they can just attend, or how does it work?
Yes, excellent question. Tomorrow we are going to be sending out an email with a link to a form where the students will be able to choose which classes they want to take and at what time they want to take it, okay? And we are going to then compile all that information And if there are classes where we don't have the required number of students to carry the course, then we will probably not have that course, okay? Or let's suppose that, just 3 students sign up for the 1 to 2 time, then we will say, okay, we'll have to move everyone to another time.
I see. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right.
Pablo, there's another question in the chat. Tammy's asking, is there a video then followed by a live teacher with each class time?
Good question. So the lessons are not just a video. So in last year, if the students were doing the power hour, that was just a video. So in here, in the lessons, there are maybe a video, there are maybe multiple videos to watch, but there will be things also to read, things to do research, and assignments to complete. Okay, so again, here we are needing to make sure that the students are learning. All right, and because this is an accredited program, diploma granting program, we need to kind of up the rigor and the expectations of the students, okay, for the students. So if the students, let's suppose they are taking this history class, okay, and it's on Tuesday, then they have Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday and Thursday to complete the lesson for the next week. And their assignments are going to be due on Thursday evening for the Tuesday classes. And Wednesday classes, they have the assignments due on Friday evening, and so on. Okay, so the students have time to complete the assignments. My suggestion is, if you have a class on Tuesday morning, use Tuesday afternoon to study the lesson, complete everything, turn everything in, and then you are done, okay? Then you are done way ahead of the due date, all right? So that way, the students are always kind of learning and being ahead. Then the following days is the time when the learning coaches are able to grade the assignments, and then they are ready to come to the live class the following week to discuss what they have learned previously, okay? So that is how it works. Does that may help, Tammy?
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, excellent. Excellent. Good. Any other questions?
I do have one more. So last year, the boys had Mr. Heyman for like their main teacher. Will they have a teacher like that again?
Yes. So yes and no. So Mr. Heyman is going to teach some of the middle school classes and some of the high school classes. I'm going to teach one of the high school classes and one of the middle school classes also. And then we have other learning coaches for the other classes.
Okay, good. So they'll still have that interaction with the teacher, though. Like they'll
Absolutely.
know. Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. So the interaction with the teacher happens in basically 3 different ways. Okay. One is the kind of an indirect interaction is through the feedback that the teachers give to the students when they are grading assignments. Okay. So there they are able to receive feedback from the learning coach, indirectly, okay? Basically, it's usually written feedback or something like that, but it is, important interaction. The second way that they interact with the teacher is during the live class. And at that time, they interact not only with the teacher, but also with all the other students, and they can ask questions, discuss topics, and so on. The key to success of the live class is for the students to come prepared, having learned the material from the lesson, having completed the assignments, and then being ready to get into deeper discussions about the topic, okay? So the live class is not necessarily the time where the learning coach is teaching. That is why we call them learning coaches, not teachers. Okay, does that make sense? And the third way that the students interact with the learning coaches is the most important, probably, is with the one-on-one coaching sessions. Because in that time, they are able to really get personalized feedback, discuss questions and issues, and even adapt the expectations or due dates or anything that they need for that student. Okay. Mm-hmm. We had last year several families that, for example, they, in the middle of the school year, they had to go on vacation. Okay, they had a trip plan or something like that. Well, those are the things that the student and the parents can discuss with the learning coaches before that happens, in order for them, the learning coach, to adapt the coursework and the due dates and the expectations in order to fit the family vacation. Okay. Mm-hmm. Of course, those things are much better discussed before they happen. Okay. Yeah.
I have another question. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yes. No,
Um,
no apologies, of course.
I'm still looking at the middle school schedule,
Mm-hmm.
and this is going to be my daughter's first year. So I'm trying to figure out what classes are required to take. Are they all required except the language? You just choose one. Is that correct? Or
Okay, so if a student is full-time in the program, then they should take 7 classes, 7 credits. Okay, so they will take 1 math. Okay, then we have art and music. Each one is half a credit, so that is another credit. History, literature, science, geography. So there you have 6 credits, and then they can take, the required ones are math, history, literature, and language arts. Okay. We encourage, of course, the students to take science also as a big requirement. All right. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then they can choose 2 other courses as electives. It could be the computer science course, or geography, or the arts and music course, or one of the, the foreign languages. Mm-hmm.
thank you.
Okay.
If
Excellent.
they want to take all of those, can they take them if they want to?
Yes, but we kind of, the courses are designed so we expect the students to need to take about 3 to 4 hours per course per week in order to complete the lessons and complete the assignments and all of that. All right. And so if a student is taking 7 credits, okay, that is about 22 to 26 hour week, okay, of study time. All right. And so I would probably say that it's not wise to take more than that. Mm-hmm. Because then the students will have to, it will be too much time. Mm-hmm.
So they just sign up at the beginning of the year, is that correct?
That's correct. Yes. Again, tomorrow we'll be sending out this form, okay, to all the families to choose the classes and the time of the classes that they want to take. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we'll be sending out one form for the students that are full-time in the program, and another form for the students that are part-time, okay, or they are a la carte, basically, that are not taking the full 7 courses. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sorry, one more question.
Of course.
Um,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My son is gonna do part-time, but I can't sign him up. So how can I get those
Yeah,
chance to sign up for like
you are on the radar, so we will send you
okay.
the
Thank
form.
you.
Don't worry,
Okay,
we are
sounds
fine.
great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah. Don't worry. The system problems won't preclude you from signing up. Okay. Yes. Thanks. Uh-huh. All right. Any other questions about how this works? There's one more thing that I think I haven't mentioned, but I believe is very, very important. Okay. In here in the schedule, we have listed time for extracurricular activities. Okay. Because we are an online school, we cannot do much as far as, offering team sports or things like that. We are in the near future going to offer some courses that are going to help with the physical activity. Okay, we have one already that is called athletic performance. Okay, so if we go here, the athletic performance course, this is a course that the students can sign up to do, and it is really for them to be able to earn credit for something that they are either are already doing or that they want to do. Okay, so if a student wants to run, okay, or do cycling or walking, okay, they can sign up for this course. They will meet with a learning coach to help them set up goals and then develop a plan for executing those goals. And then they will be reporting to the learning coach every so often in order to report and be accountable to their program. Okay, so one way of looking at these courses, the experiential learning, athletic performance, and artistic performance courses, are ways of the students being able to get credit for things that they want to do, that they are already doing one way or the other. And we really encourage you to think about what sort of specifically physical activity or some extracurricular activity would you want your students to do in order to be active. Okay, we don't want them just to be in front of the computer all day. That is not our goal at all. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
How many credits do you offer for those athletics performances and artistic performance?
Excellent question. These three courses are what we call variable credit. If the students take the course, they can sign up to take the course for a term or for a semester or for a year. And then they would earn, a quarter credit, half a credit, or one full credit. Okay. So that is kind of how it works. Last year, for example, we had one student that his father owned a manufacturing company, and they use this machinery to basically do metal machining. All right, and they created the trailers that they use in the Tesla factories. Okay, and he always wanted to learn to use this machine, and so he signed up for the experiential learning course, and throughout the year he learned these skills. He learned how to use the machine. He learned a lot of the different aspects of the business and so on, and he earned a full credit for that. Okay, these are great questions, really. Anything else?
If my son doing taking drum lessons,
Uh-huh.
and wanting to get the credits, he can sign up for artistic performance. Is that
That's
correct?
that is correct. Uh-huh, that is correct. Yeah.
Okay. So he just have to talk to the coaches to be able to get the credits toward that.
Yep, that's right. Uh-huh.
And
And
the
you
same
know,
as ballroom, is that correct?
sorry?
Eh, the same as ballroom dances and things like that.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yes. Uh-huh. And so we basically, you know, you would need to provide the whoever is the trainer or whoever is actually doing, our learning coaches may or may not be experts in that particular thing, but what they are experts on is on helping the student to plan, report progress, and then celebrate the progress. That is the main thrust of the course on our side. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks. Okay. All right. Any other question? Going to stop the sharing here. Okay. If necessary, we can share the screen again, but. Okay. Well, I want to thank you all for your attendance and participation and your questions. Okay. I hope that this was beneficial to you and helpful in order to learn more about our program, the things that we offer, and why we do it more than anything. Okay. So thank you very, very much. All right. Okay.